As a law-abiding citizen, when I play Grand Theft Auto, I refuse to kill anyone and always stop at red lights. Playing Minecraft is a lot easier for me because there are far fewer laws that can be broken. Or is there? Today, I'm going to play Minecraft in its entirety from beginning to end and show you the laws that you're actually breaking and total up the prison sentence. And let's just say right now that you'll be going to Minecraft prison for a very long time if anyone finds out about your crime, so you'd better hope no one does. Anyway, these crimes will be measured in either international law or British law, which is where I'm from, because otherwise this sign would get you the death penalty, and I think it's unfair to include that. So let's get right into the average playthrough of Minecraft, because you spawn somewhere near a tree and you immediately chop it down, right? If we assume that you're not in any protected wilderness area or national park, this is actually entirely fine until something else starts to happen, because by chopping down the logs, you are dooming the leaves to die, which means that when items drop on the ground, like they have so far, it is your duty to pick them up. If you don't pick up every single sapling and stick that falls out of a tree, then you have left them on the ground, and this is considered littering, which if convicted in a court will give you up to a £2,500 fine. Usually though, when you litter in the UK, you get a fixed notice, which will be just £150, and so that's what we'll put right here, £150 fine. Don't litter in Minecraft, it's not okay. The second thing you do once you've got some wood is maybe you go and you get some food, right? This is entirely okay, you might think, but wait a minute, am I punching a cow to death? I'm not necessarily the biggest PETA advocate in the world, but it does seem as though that might just be animal cruelty. Animal cruelty is defined as these three vague statutes. Poisoning is not okay, and either is unnecessary harm. That seemed like unnecessary harm to an animal, and therefore I can be convicted for up to an unlimited fine, or more realistically, up to 5 years in prison. And it all could have been avoided if I simply made myself a decent sword first, because as you might know, using a strong enough weapon with a critical hit will immediately kill a lot of mobs, meaning no unnecessary suffering is inflicted. Although I guess we could probably, oh no, sorry, oh that's another 5 years in prison, damn it. But I guess we could probably argue that it's always unnecessary to kill an animal in exchange for its meat in a game that has seeds and bread, but you know, I'm not going to be making that philosophical argument about whether we should kill animals. Instead, I'll be making sure that I kill them as humanely and with as little unnecessary suffering as possible. So my spawn area is kind of sucked, it's just endless forest in every direction, so I'm getting on a boat and I'm heading for a better life in another part of the world, hopefully. Oh, look at that over there, it's a sunken ship. Did you know that looting from a sunken ship is actually entirely legal with two clear exceptions? One of those is if the vessel has any chance of making it back alive, it is illegal to loot from it for fairly obvious reasons, and the second is that if the wreck is more than 50 years old, it is generally considered to be an artifact and of historic importance, and so you can't loot it then, which is interesting, right? That your stuff is entirely lootable until it becomes old enough and then it belongs to everyone collectively instead? Oh, Big Salmon, love you so much. I mean, it's that interesting thing that at some point everything you own stops being yours and starts being the collective property of humanity. We like to believe we have very strong property rights, and that is true, but when it comes to shipwrecks, everything is open for grabs, and also the same thing is kind of true for cemeteries if you think about it. When you see dead people, when you see these tombstones of people from hundreds of years ago, that's not really there to celebrate that person anymore. No one knows Rob Jimmy Schnitz from 1293. Instead, it becomes kind of a collective record of someone being alive in that period, and so yeah, it's kind of fun that after a certain point, you don't really get a say in what happens with everything you own, almost including your body. Speaking of not having a say, let me show you something really fun you might not know. You can actually trespass very legally in the UK. That's right, I can go right into someone's house, and as long as I'm not causing criminal damage, it is not a criminal issue. That is to say, the government will not hold it against you. However, it is potentially a civil issue, so you can be sued for it, i.e. if you cause damages, someone can prove those damages, you will be forced to pay those back, but it is not a criminal issue. You can't just call the police because someone is in your house, you have to call the police because they broke and entered, or something like that, and so this guy is entirely powerless to do anything for me. Man, I love the silly legal system we have in the UK, but you know what isn't legal here? Stealing. This is actively what I'm doing right now because it benefits me, which sadly does come with a penalty. We can just add that to the total. I'm sure there'll be no issue. Also, I think we actually have enough iron from this to actually make a smithing table, which means this early in the game, if I want to, I could have some coastal armor trimmed leggings. Yeah, look at that. I can look good while I'm committing crimes. Maybe you'll also find it fun that where I live, I'm not allowed to use wood for fires. It is actively against, I think, all of London's air quality rules. However, you know what? This isn't London. This is a village, and so I can do whatever I want, except stealing and the animal cruelty stuff, and, you know, except the crimes that I have committed, I am A-okay. But this isn't London, as you can tell from all of the farmers that are very aggressively fighting over the beetroot seeds right here. You know, if this was London, that'd be fried chicken instead. But anyway, I probably shouldn't be taking their beetroot. I'll just give those back. No harm, no foul. Whoa, this village has 2 blacksmith chests. You know, I think I might be adding another stealing charge to my list because seriously, having this much iron this early on, seriously cool. By the way, to make it up to this guy for stealing from his house, I'm actually gonna buy something from him, except, wait a minute, we just committed a business transaction. Do you have your papers, mate? I don't know that you do. Did you know conducting business without a license is a very serious offense? The fine is £5,000 per 3 months that he's been operating. I'll have to assume from his level that I'm his first trade, but that's a £5,000 fine. Plus, hate to say this, man, but I don't think you've been, you know, conducting tax records for all of this stuff. I mean, I can look around the village just to be sure. Okay, so I looked everywhere and I didn't find any tax forms. I'm just saying this is a serious issue. There are 2 easy ways out. One is to come to HMRC, tell them about the various issues and just say it was an honest mistake. Or the second issue, you know, I'll help you with the second way. Oh no! All of our tax records! They might be destroyed in that fire! I was so excited to give them to the government so they could know how much I earned this year. But I mean, what are we gonna do? They're all, yeah, I know, right? Let's run away from the fire. This is a tragedy. This fire is the worst, and we're never gonna work out who did it. There's precisely no way, and so, oh dear God. Okay, there's a policeman after me. I don't want to do this, man. You don't need to die. You can just stop investigating my crimes. Okay, so what is murder? Oh, it's a life sentence. So obviously I'm fleeing my crimes, but if I were to be tried for them, murder is actually a life sentence. And unlike in some jurisdictions, I can never quite work out why life sentence worldwide seems to mean 18 years. In what world is a life 18 years? But in the UK, even though the sentence served time is a minimum of something like 18 to 25, it will never expire. The life, the life sentence is a lifelong conviction, which is probably how murder should be. I don't know. I feel like murder is bad. I have this, I hate to have this controversial stance as a YouTuber, but I do actually believe that murder is less than ideal. Sorry, please don't cancel me. I know I'm so brave for speaking my mind and saying what very few people believe, but I just really strongly, think that this is the way forwards. Also, when it comes to finding treasure chests, pro tip, only go on coordinates divisible by 8 or 4. You know, don't think about it. Just only go on even coordinates and you'll have a better luck. So I've looked into UK law with regards to killing zombies, and I'm pretty sure that it's A-okay. It's considered kosher, as best I can tell, but it depends on whether you consider zombies to be human, which, sorry to throw that out there. Oh, that is a serious score that I cannot take because I am drowning. When I die, I want all of my belongings to go in some very mysterious chest. By the way, here's how you loot it easier. You find the water-breathing potion, and you use the water-breathing potion to help you get the other water. But yeah, that single shipwreck and the buried treasure has given me 2 diamonds, and we all know there's only one thing you'd craft with 2 diamonds. Oh God. It's the only way to avoid situations like that. I'm of course talking about these sweet new chain boots. Because why would I want that when I can have 2 diamond shovels? I actually have my eyes on one of these because all I need is 1 book and 4 obsidian. 1 book is easy to come by. Because is it even stealing when the building's burning this badly? I assume not. Just like how I'm not sure how all of this lava is existing underwater. Seriously, I'm gonna drown here, but also there is lava everywhere. If I, like, place a block, I think it all breaks. But I kind of like the light source, so we're gonna let this conveniently go away. If you give me, yes, 4 obsidian, that right there is, I believe, oh wow, some decent gold armor too. That right there is what I like to call quid pro pro. That's Latin, that is, despite the fact that, obviously, quid is very much a British word. You know, does it come from that? Is it you give someone a quid and then they become a pro? So for my non-British viewers, a quid is what we call a pound, and a pound is the currency of the United Kingdom. Looks like this. It's pretty darn nice, actually. There's some cool looking currency out there, and that is the currency used all over this island, but also, like, this island, and also these islands, and also, for some reason, these islands all the way down here. Edinburgh of the Seven Seas technically would use the pound. Also, Inaccessible Island with the accessible shack. Wait, I think this is a Minecraft video. Let me get back to that. I think this was meant to be a Minecraft video. Let me get back to that. I can now officially make an enchantment table. That's right, people who thought you needed a diamond sword earlier, bet you're feeling silly now, except actually I should feel silly. I don't have a diamond pickaxe to move this thing around, and I don't have lapis to actually enchant anything, something I can hopefully change. If anyone asks me how to find easy early game lapis, I just recommend looking for a giant cave entrance, and then if it looks like it goes deep enough, jump right in. What's the worst that can happen? This one is deep enough to find some ore, although probably not lapis, I'm guessing. Although this will be handy. This cave would be good if I was looking for copper, but right now I don't need a lazy version of the Optifine zoom button. And so instead, I think this cave will more than do the job. Oh, also there's copper as well. I'm gonna jump right down here after I attract a couple more animal cruelty charges because, you know, what do you expect me to do? Eat the bread I have? No, I am eating the primo stuff for this sort of voyage. And now we do the one type of attempted murder that's legal, the one on yourself. Just like that, we are at Deep Slate Lair. It's kind of messy in here, but then we hope for another one of these. Is that the cell? Oh, yeah. Look at that. And then we attempted murder ourselves again, and boom, I think I saw lapis. Yeah, right there. I love Minecraft generation sometimes because this is a lifetime supply of lapis as far as I'm concerned. Oh, okay, guys. Hello, friends. Okay, I'm going to push them into the water that's right over lava there. I'm hoping that'll mess them all up. Yeah, this is A-okay. You're not people as far as I'm concerned. Oh! You know, at this point, you should just assume this video is perfectly scripted. I go off camera and I place the diamonds specifically so I can mine them. You know, such is the life of a YouTuber, right? But that is insane. I mean, we're at the right layers for it and everything, but still, 2 more diamonds, I could make 2 diamond shovels. Wait, scratch that. I think that's gonna be 4 diamond shovels now. I'm gonna skirt the issue as to whether eating rotten flesh is technically cannibalism. I mean, it's definitely meat, but are zombies really people? Let's certainly hope the courts don't rule so, because it would be quite the serious charge if so. But yeah, let's get ourselves out here. Ooh, very serious, huh? I just want to stand in lava and water at the same time, and I love this seed allows me to do that. And let's hope that we find some gold while we're at it. Oh! That was a couple of good creeper explosions, right? Gold mining went absolutely terrible. In this whole giant cave, I found just 7 pieces of gold. I'm starting to think you can get richer selling shovels and axes than you can actually mining gold. Now, if only there was some historic saying that could teach me this. No! So the crime of opening a portal to a dimension with unspeakable horrors in, funnily enough, is not actually against any UK-specific law, which means I'm A-okay to do it, although maybe this guy isn't. It's very weird that the moment we opened it, he came through, but I'm now free to go to this dimension, and although presumably laws still apply, there wasn't a law being broke besides societal norms. So a useful fact to know, especially given that it's going to happen with these blazes, as well as that gas, is that self-defense in the UK is not inherently legal. It is not, you know, by default a given right, despite the fact that most people would probably agree with you using self-defense, it is not enshrined in law. Instead, if you are inside of your home, you can use reasonable defense to ensure your safety, but when you're outside of your home, which I think it's probably fair to say I am right now, right? But when you're outside of your home, having possession of any weapon is a sentence of up to 6 to 10 years because you should not be armed outside your house. You know, we do not have the right to bear arms because we don't have any bears here. Fun fact. But yeah, 6 to 10 years, add it to the sentence. I mean, I would actually argue that an axe or a pickaxe is not a weapon, so we'd actually have to go to court for that one. But if it was convicted, I would be in some serious problems. Also, I really should just have a sword at this point. Although I guess right now we're doing a pretty good job of skirting the law and weapons, because I just want to chop down some trees. I don't want to do any harm to anyone. If someone happens to get harmed by an axe, that is unrelated to the weapon that I have. Oh, Lord. Oh! And so instead, here is another classic case of income tax evasion. I am sure these piglins are not working out the differential between the value of the gold they're receiving and the random blocks they throw at me. But also, most crucially, you'll notice these piglins are located in a permanent premises. This means that they are subject to licensing laws of the various councils they might be in, and so they do need to have closing times in line with that. And what time of day do you call this? As you can see, it's clearly midnight, midday, 6 a.m., midday, midnight, 6 a.m., noon, sunset, Sunday. As you can see, they're operating all hours of the day and they do not follow those restrictions, meaning they would get a small fine from the local council and be told to stop. And I'm just saying, absolutely disappointing, guys. But also, could you please just give me some ender pearls? I really don't care if you pay your taxes, I just need to beat Minecraft. Oh, the snout trim. Oh, okay, also death. Okay, lots and lots and lots of death, apparently. Get out of that. You've got to hand it to piglins. The fact that they give you the perfect swords for dealing with other piglins, really, really kind of them. But I also kind of want to get that trimmed, so if you could just run around here, ideally into fire. I'm going to have the best looking armor by the time this is all done. Oh dear, no I'm not, no I'm not. I'm just going to upset a bunch of piglins. And they will literally still trade you for the stuff that you've stolen from their own houses. And that's before we talk about, you know, like mining the physical blocks themselves. But still, really easy way to get a ton of stuff is just steal it from the piglins and then sell it right back to them. Why is it even called a hate crime? Surely you have to hate someone to decide to commit crimes against them in the first place. By the way, I'm realizing embarrassingly late that this sword has looting on. What an incredible go-to that is. I don't even need to conduct business without a license when I have one of these behind me. So just before we go to the end, one of the crimes I wanted to bring up was going to be poisonous arrows. In fact, any form of booby-trapped arrows, any form of non-okay arrows was going to be a big crime. By the way, look at this. I've now got myself some lovely water-breathing arrows. Technically speaking, if these were considered to be poison arrows, it would be against the Geneva Convention. By the way, just for fun, do you want to know something else that's against the Geneva Convention? Oh god, not you. How did you get here? I did not expect that future Toycat would actually deal with past Toycat's problems. But yeah, something else that is against the Geneva Convention that maybe you wouldn't expect. Oh, it's definitely being a giant dragon. But if we can all agree to ignore my extra explosive charges, which I might be working on right now. Oh look, the dragon is using poison. That is in fact also against the Geneva Convention, which is higher than British law because it is actually international law. That is the type of law you really don't want to be breaking. I think the dragon also just committed murder there, by the way, which when you add that to breaking the Geneva Convention, pretty serious collection of laws right there, if you ask me. But yeah, on top of all of these fun— wait, what just happened there? He changed profession because of that explosion. He saw something in his life was going wrong, and he decided to change pathway, something we should all admire. But something we definitely shouldn't admire is what I'm doing right here. This is vigilante justice. One of the key facets of the law is it's meant to be administered by one specific state. Even though you might think you're doing right, when you go into a Spider-Man mode and you try to take things into your own hand, not only are you committing a crime, vigilantism is bad, but in the case of the Ender Dragon right here, who admittedly has been committing some international crimes, she is the last of her species, which means I just committed genocide. And so genocide is another international law, and the official punishment, because it's part of the, you know, it's actually part of a lot of international laws, is never exactly specified. It is such a serious law, and the Geneva Convention is such a serious convention, but it can only really be enforced by, other states against states who commit it, meaning there is no set punishment. punishment. It's not like you commit a genocide, you go to prison for 20 years, you're usually executed, as has happened with lots of genocidal leaders in the past. However, the exact, end crime of this really does depend on what you're doing, and I think ultimately it's a valuable lesson to look at this particular, story of me killing the last of a person's being and then going even a step further and saying, you know what we could do? We could totally take the even more last of her being, this lovely little dragon egg. If we break the block below this, then we can guarantee that now there will be no more dragons. Oh, that was not what I was expecting to happen at all. The important thing to take from this international crime, which by the way has an unlimited punishment, financial and including your life, but it is worth mentioning that everyone who commits a bad atrocity like genocide, at the time these guys weren't thinking, wow, we're gonna pick on these really tiny groups of people that don't deserve it. People were thinking justifiably at the time, these guys have done something bad to us, we're gonna punish them back. Almost every genocide in history has a story like this, and it's an important reminder that although you might think you're so in the right that you can do great harm to other people, and there's a reason why as a society we bind ourselves by these rules, which I'm starting to regret after looking at my rap sheet. As you can see, I have only $6,000 worth of fines, but I then have 23 years and 3 months in prison, but then also a life sentence and an execution, and I have to give back all of the stuff that I stole, lest I be fined even more. This was a brutal set of crimes which Minecraft immediately went about enforcing, because while transitioning back to the overworld dimension, I started to die in fire, as best I could tell from the noises that happened here, but it meant that when I loaded back into the overworld, it came back in on the death screen, which I think is a perfect way to represent the natural punishment that will happen even if you don't get one from the courts. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you subscribe to see more, because I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.